guys, so today I've got a really fun video for you, a little bit unusual. I'm out here in South Dakota with my buddy Kira, and in this video we're going to explore all the amazing wonders South Dakota has to offer. We're going to do some off-roading and show you some of the beautiful sights and sounds you got to see. This is called Sylvan Lake in Custer State Park. It is a beautiful area to hang out, go for a swim, do some hiking, and if you come like now at sunset, all the rocks just glow. The vehicle taking us through South Dakota is the 2020 Land Rover Defender. And here is our next landmark. This is called Needle's Eye Tunnel. It is a one-lane tunnel and it is super narrow and really a cool sight. Dripping water here. There are width restrictions, and definitely you want to listen to those width restrictions because otherwise you're gonna be like a cork in the bottle. All right, onward. Now this scenic byway through Custer Park is just incredible. It's really fun to drive to, a bunch of super tight twisties, and you get these amazing rock formations and deep valleys. But it's getting dark. I think it's time we go find some dinner. So vlog update, we're trying to go back through Needle's Eye Tunnel, and there's this furry friend in the way. And the guy up front has been honking consistently, but this little dude is not having any of it, so I think we're just gonna be here for a hot sec maybe. All right, so update, we've got the what is that, Kira?
I'm guessing a mountain goat.
Is that a mountain goat? We got the mountain goat, we've got this girl with her phone. Just let the little dude do his thing. There he goes. So we're down in this little historic town called Keystone. Honestly, it's kind of a tourist trap, but there's a little pizza place back here. We're gonna try it and see how it is. And then we'll check out the little hotel we're at. Well, it's a cabin actually. So we showed up to our cabin for the night, and it's a really cool place. But check this out. They gave us a fire pit, wood, and stuff for s'mores. How thoughtful was that? Alright, well, good morning. Welcome to day 2 here in South Dakota. I wanted to show you this cool cabin I found over on Airbnb. Not sponsored, but this is a really cool little place. It was $160 for the night, but it's 2-bedroom with a little kitchen, this cool little seating area. It's got a little dining room. It's got a nice bathroom, a shower, and it's in the middle of the Black Hills. It's just beautiful. We are out way far from civilization out here. Whoa, almost fell off the bridge. But today we're going to hit Mt.Rushmore, we're going to do some off-road trails, and then head out to the Badlands and see what those are like. We made it to Mt.Rushmore National Monument. Behind me are 4 presidents, Jefferson, Lincoln, Washington, and Theodore Roosevelt. Had to get all 4 of them. I can't do it justice on camera, but certainly National Geographic can, so look that up if you want to see what it really looks like. But it is super cool to see in person, although it is much smaller than you'd expect. So this is pretty interesting. Admission to Mount Rushmore is actually free, but you do have to pay $10 for parking, which is basically the admittance, really. Alright, so you joined me here in the Black Hills with the new Land Rover Defender. We're going to do some exploring on some off-road trails and see what this area has to offer. Now, first of all, that, as it turns out, is a hardcore Jeep trail. The sign recommends 35-inch tall tires and lockers and all that, which the Land Rover doesn't have. So we're going to go that way, see if we can find something a little bit easier, and go enjoy the scenery and maybe do a little bit of crawling, some 2-track, and just some fun off-roading. So I found this little trail on Onyx Off-Road, and basically it's a forest road / 2-track out in the Black Hills. And so far it's been really, really cool. It's just been incredibly scenic, up and down these hills, through forests, through the plains, had some rocky sections, some more flatter high-speed stuff, and the Defender is perfect for this. Now coming out here, we drove about 6.5 hours on the highway up through Colorado, Wyoming, and this thing was a beast. We averaged 21 miles per gallon. It would cruise along at 70, 75 miles per hour, no problem. Super smooth, incredibly quiet, and so comfortable. But the cool thing about the Defender is it really can transform, put on its different face, and turn into a pretty hardcore off-roader. I will say it's not quite as happy rock crawling as something like a Wrangler, but on this kind of stuff, which is basically, you know, a forest road with some rocks, it really comes to life. It does have full independent suspension. It has air suspension as well. Now I keep it in the normal height when we're just cruising along. That makes it nice and soft and squishy. And then if there's a rock or an obstacle that needs a little bit more ground clearance, I just slap on the off-road height. The thing lifts up a couple of inches and we can tackle that more advanced terrain. I do have to say these Goodyear Wrangler tires are holding up really well. Now this isn't like the Duratrack, it's not the crazy aggressive one, it's more of like it's an all-terrain, but I call it more of a mild terrain. However, they've held up really well on this kind of bumpy shale we've been driving over, and they look cool dirty. The whole Defender, it's much cooler dirty. But this is really what the Defender is happiest doing, is back roads exploring, tons of space, really quiet. It's great, it's really good for this kind of stuff. Not quite as good as like a Wrangler or I imagine the upcoming Bronco if you're looking to tackle the Rubicon Trail, but not a lot of people are looking to tackle the Rubicon Trail. Most folks just want to come enjoy and explore nature, and that's where this car is perfect. Alright, so status update. We just came to the end of this long ass bumpy trail. Now it started out as smooth and rolling and beautiful, this nice 2-track thing, and then it just turned into countless rocks and, you know, stones that weren't necessarily challenging, but just hard enough to make our ride pretty uncomfortable. And look at this! There's a gate! We're probably 9 miles into this trail and we hit a gate! What's the point? Look, there's a main road. There's a house behind me there. Another house over there. But the gate's locked. So now we have to go back down the long ass bumpy trail. Alright. We'll keep going. That's dirty. Okay, so status update. I had to cut the camera because I was frustrated as heck with that trail, and I'm feeling less grumpy now. We are about an hour east of where we were doing our off-roading in a little town called Wall, and we rented cabin number 2. This is a $125 cabin. I think it's cute actually. It's really cool. It's got this amazing view of a giant meadow. So now that I'm less grumpy, we're gonna chill out here for a sec and then go check out a local tourist attraction, which is supposed to be pretty cool. Let's see if it is. I need to show you the absurdity that is this place we're going to called Wall Drug. I think there must be 500 billboards between Rapid City and Wall, South Dakota, and this is a good example of what I'm talking about. We are outside of Wall. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Wall Drug billboards in one field. This is berserk. We got to go check it out. Alright, so apparently this place was built in 1931, although I think it's probably grown since then. But there's a bookstore, jewelry, leather goods, and look, there's even a chapel. I kid you not, a chapel. But, ironically, the drug shop is closed. Wall Drug was actually pretty cool. The hundreds of billboards were definitely something to behold, and the actual place was pretty neat as well. I'd recommend if you are driving through the area in South Dakota. Apparently they have billboards as far as like Montana. We saw them in Wyoming, so that's kind of what they're known for. So Wall is a pretty small town here in South Dakota, but funny enough, there is a Tesla supercharger. Let's see how busy it is. Yeah, not so busy. To be brutally honest with you, there's not a lot going on at the Tesla supercharger in Wall, South Dakota. But I guess if you do have a Tesla, you can go check out Wall Drug while you're here. To be honest with you, I don't know if I've seen a single Tesla in the last few hours. I think I saw one earlier today at Mt.Rushmore, but that was about it. So this is Badlands National Park. We paid, I think it's $30 to get in here per vehicle, and it is a huge national park with some truly amazing scenery. It's pretty funny. You cruise through the grassland and it's just, you know, prairie after prairie after prairie, and then you get to the national park and bam, mountains and hills and valleys, and oh, it's pretty neat. It's hard to capture on camera, but this area we're at has these really kind of pointy bluffs and these amazing natural ridges that have formed into the landscape. It's very cold today though. Beginning of May, we should have brought a coat. Top tip. Okay, major problem. First of all, I got a cool hat. That's not the major problem. The major problem came when I went to the visitor center and realized we missed a few cool things to do here in South Dakota. This sticker package shows you the cool things to do in the Black Hills, and we've been doing pretty good. We did Mt.Rushmore, Badlands is here. We did Custer State Park. That was fun. That was the first place we went to. Devil's Tower, that's tonight. But Wind Cave National Park, we missed it, and it was near Rushmore. Now, technically we're supposed to head out to Wyoming right now. It's a couple hours away and go to our hotel in Devil's Tower. But while we're here, we might as well head down south a little bit and check out Wind Cave, because just bought one of these. The passport to your national parks, and this is a pretty cool thing. It's actually pretty official. You get these official stamps in the visitor centers of all the national parks. There's the first one there, Badlands, but Wind Cave is one of them. So we'd have to come back up to get that stamp if we missed it. So onwards. Google has decided to take us along this super rutted out dirt road. This is when you're glad you have a four-wheel drive with off-road tires, but just part of the South Dakota adventure. So we've been on dirt roads through the middle of nowhere for probably 40 miles now. At least an hour and 10 minutes of no service, nothing. I mean, barely a single road sign. And Google says that we are 0.4 of a mile away from Wind Cave National Park. We're not 0.4 of a mile away from anything. Genuinely nothing. We didn't see a single sign for Wind Cave, not a single direction, and out of nowhere there's a gate, Wind Cave National Park. Is there a toll booth? No. All right, I guess we're here. All right, well, Wind Cave was kind of a bust because, as it turns out, you need to schedule a tour. So you got to get here at right at 8 a.m. to make the tour groups, and it's like 3 o'clock when we decided to show up. We still got our stamp. We got to do that little stamp in the book, but couldn't see the cool caves. It's okay though. We still saw the amazing national park, but didn't quite get to the cave part of it. What are you gonna do? So on our way to our next stop, where we're staying tonight, which is called, I forgot, Devil's Tower. We came to Sturgis, South Dakota. I really didn't want to, but my mom really wanted a t-shirt, and tomorrow is Mother's Day. So we drove, I think it was like an hour and some out of our way to come to Sturgis, and there's nothing really to see here. To be brutally honest, it is just another small town like every other small town in the USA. I didn't even get to see a whole throng of motorcycles. So maybe come here during the rally, but otherwise, I'd say let's move on. Welcome to day 4 on our South Dakota and now Wyoming road trip. Last night's hotel, nothing too special, so I didn't think I'd share it, but it was a little one-room thing. But anyways, today we find ourselves back in Wyoming at a really cool monument called Devil's Tower. This is actually a pretty special place. That is a giant rock. It's 867 feet from the visitor center to the summit, and it was the first national monument here in the US, established in 1906 by Roosevelt. Now, it may not look that big on camera, but in person, it's a ginormous slab of igneous rock, and it's actually a very common climbing place for free climbers. So apparently, it averages about 5 hours from the base to the summit, but it can take anywhere from 18 minutes to 16 hours, apparently, depending on how good you are. This is a really interesting little monument up here in northeastern Wyoming. Definitely recommend it. There's some hiking trails, and if you're a free climber, I don't know, maybe give it a shot, but it's supposed to be a pretty popular destination for that kind of thing. In 1941, someone parachuted to the summit of that giant rock and then got stuck. and they had to airdrop him food and supplies, and it took 4 days to get him down. So fun stories, cool history like that out here in northeastern Wyoming. Beautiful part of the country as well, just absolutely stunning. Now, I think this is where we're going to conclude our little road trip, and let's talk really quickly about how the Land Rover performed on this 900, well, it'd actually be over 1,000-mile trip when we end up back home. It's been perfect, absolutely no issues. I know this thing has kind of a reputation for unreliability on this channel, but the Land Rover Defender, absolutely ideal for this kind of trip. Just fell in love with it. So no problems, not a single puncture, at least so far. We still got to go back home. No mechanical woes. It was just, you know, reliability wise perfect. And here's some of the pros and cons. Pros, super comfortable. It's got a nice squishy independent suspension. It's got air suspension. It's quick too. This has the 400 horsepower straight six. Tons of passing power. On this trip we spent a lot of time on just kind of little 2-lane roads, and this had tons of ability to kind of get around anything that we need to zip past. Other pros, fuel economy was pretty good. We averaged about 21 miles per gallon, which isn't that bad considering this is a big 3-row SUV. When we went to take it off-road, lift it up, push a button, and this thing's a beast. Stick it in low range, it'll go pretty much anywhere you need it to go. It's also, you know, like we said, really long, so tons of room in the back seat and the trunk for all your stuff. Just throw it on back there, and you are ready for your road trip. Now, cons, premium fuel, which gets expensive. So I think the last fill up we paid $3.40 something per gallon, which is, you know, pretty high when you gotta run 91 octane in this thing. The infotainment screen is pretty slow and laggy, I will say that. The seats are excellent, but you have to pay extra for the lumbar support. That's a big deal. So make sure you get the lumbar support on the seats. And that's pretty much all the cons. Oh, that's not true. The dead space between the seat and the console, everything fell in there. I think it's because like the center armrest has this big lip that's angled toward that hole, but I just kept dropping everything in that hole constantly. And yes, I am stupid, but still, it was so many pennies and quarters and phones. I dropped my phone in there probably 9 times on this trip. It's just like an awkwardly large gap. But apart from that, loved it. Really, it was a great vehicle for this trip. Interior is so beautiful. The seats are excellent if you get the lumbar support. Infotainment screen's not great, but just use Apple CarPlay and you are good to go. I mean, what else could you want? I think this is a winner. We're going to keep holding on to this, doing some more adventures to see how long-term reliability is, but we are at 4,487 miles right now. No issues to report. The wireless charger we thought was giving out, but now it's back and working fine, so we're just going to keep trucking along with the good old Defender. Well, thank you to Kira behind the camera for all her help on this trip, and as always, this has been Tommy with the Fast Lane car, the Fast Lane truck, and TFL Off-Road on this little 3-state adventure. Check out those websites for the latest and greatest in new car and now adventuring reviews.